Hey friends, James with Team Finish Strong. I'm down here at the lake again today on what is the quintessential perfect day. Sunny, mid-70s, no bugs. It's amazing out here and I'm loving it. And you know, I'm really glad to be out here today because this question that I've asked in the reflection title is probably one of the most important questions we need to ask ourselves. And that is, who is my neighbor? You see, it was an important question in Jesus's day, and it is an even more important question, I would argue, today in this socially fractured landscape that we currently have in this world. You know, the question was asked, not by Jesus incidentally, it was asked by someone who wanted to know what did they need to do to inherit eternal life. That's the big question. Well, Jesus answered him in a very unusual way. He answered him first with a commandment to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Well, I guess this person thought they had the first part nailed, but they weren't too sure about the second part. You know, it's like, well, who is my neighbor? Well, friends, you know, the question this expert in the law asked is a very important question. And I can understand why he asked it. But I think at its essence, this teacher of the law asked this question primarily for two reasons. First, just being a lawyer, it probably was in his nature to want to drill down to the very jot and tittle of exactly what it meant to love your neighbor as yourself. But I think even deeper than that, he wanted to be on the right side of Jesus's answer to this all-important question. He wanted to know that he was loving people, loving his neighbor like himself. So he asked, who's my neighbor? Well, friends, Jesus did not give him the answer that he wanted. Didn't give him the pat on the back. Didn't tell him, hey, buddy, you're good. He answered it with a parable. But you know, he answered it also with the very truth. Like the truth, even when it hurts, even when it cuts us, I think is better than to give us a sense of we're okay. Like, we don't tell sweet lies to our friends. Like, we have to tell them the truth. And Jesus loved this man. And so Jesus tells him this parable. Now, for those of you who are familiar, it's the parable of the Good Samaritan. So I think a lot of us are already familiar with this. But for those who aren't, let me just give you a quick synopsis. You see, in this story, a Jewish person is going down a road from Jerusalem to Jericho. A very long road, a very dangerous road. You see, back in those days, it's not like me walking down this trail today. There was all sorts of things, all sorts of bad things that could happen to you along the way. Not the least of which is what happened to this person, which was that he was waylaid by robbers and he was left for dead. Had everything taken, even down to his own dignity. They left him naked. So he had literally nothing left. Well, fortunately for him, someone was passing by. A priest was passing by. Now, a priest is one of the highest positions in Jewish life. Jewish religious life, priests were at the top, okay? Including the high priest. Doesn't say if it was the high priest, but let's just say it was a priest. So this person had both the position and the power to help this person. And he certainly had the financial means because they did pretty well in that day. But he didn't. He passed by on the other side. Probably even quickened his step a little bit. We don't know. So this person passes by without helping. Now the next person was a Levite. Like the priest, the Levite was charged with responsibility for the temple. Theirs was an inheritance from God. They were the tribe assigned to these duties. So it was, in essence, in their genes. It was part of their ethnic heritage to be a Levite, to be part of that class that was allowed to go in close to God and worship and serve. You know, he certainly had the knowledge to help this person, the knowledge of God's commands, the knowledge of the heart of God. And yet he too passed by on the other side. What's up with that? Well, you know, the last person to help was probably the least likely person to help him. Why? Because this person was a Samaritan. This person probably spent their whole life being ridiculed, shamed, and pushed away by Jewish people. You know, these good Jews had nothing to do with the Samaritans. They were half-breeds, literally, in their minds. Why should this person help? Why should this person, after all they've endured, help this Jewish person? Well, he did. Not only did he give the minimum, hey, you all right? No, friends, he went and he stopped. He helped. He bandaged his wounds, put him on his own donkey, and took him into town. Now, friends, if that is not enough, not simply just dropping off with his buddies and saying, hey, I hope he does better. No, he used his own money to put this man up in an inn so that he could be properly cared for. And so this person gave money to the innkeeper and said that I would give more, if necessary, when I returned to ensure that he's properly taken care of. My words, not Jesus's words. Now, Jesus said that it was this person, the person who had shown mercy, that was the person who was a neighbor to the person that was waylaid by robbers. And you know, deep down in his heart, the expert in the law already knew this because he answered correctly. But you know, that just means, friends, that deep down in our hearts too, we're without excuse. We know what we should do. We know how to live out this command. And yet, if we're honest, we know we also fall way short of this. And why is that, friends? Why is that when Jesus shows us how to be a neighbor to someone, that we put limits to that? We decide who is our neighbor and who is not. Who are the despised and pushed out and who are not? Who is in and who is someone that we want to cast away from us and never ever see them again? Friends, we have a responsibility by God to love even those that we would despise and turn away from. It's a matter of eternal life, friends. That's how important this is. Now you might say, well, we already know from Romans what it means to have eternal life, to believe to confess with our mouth Jesus is Lord, and to believe in our heart that God raised him from the dead. Like, that's how we get saved. Well, that is true, friends. But once we're saved, what is the proof that we are God's children? By the actions that we take in light of what Jesus has done for us. Do you know that the actions of the perfect, righteous Son of God helping dirty, filthy sinners like us, filthy, yes, sinners like us, I don't care how good we are, that is the way we are seen by our holy and righteous God. So when we look at what a perfect God did for us, filthy sinners, we have no choice but to love others likewise. In fact, if we truly understand what it means to be saved, we will be glad to extend mercy and grace to others. We will be happy to do what was done for us. And so, friends, I challenge you, I challenge myself to go deeper to the heart of God and to extend mercy, grace, and real help to those that are hurting, that are in need, that are at the end of their rope, to even those who would rather push away because of their failures, because of their status, because of whatever. Friends, look inside. Do some time of reflection and introspection today and ask God to help us be able to love our neighbors as ourselves. You know, that one could take a lifetime to perfect. And well, friends, while we've got time, while it is day, we need to do the works of the one that has sent us. So I would just encourage you, don't delay. Start on that journey today. Well, take care, friends. God bless. And as always, finish strong.